Celebrating independence is an opportunity to reflect on the hopes and aspirations of a nation and also a time to look back and see how far we've come. Every 1st of October is Nigeria's independence, and this year Nigeria is 62. But the question is, can you compare the age to the growth? Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Oluja Kemosaku. The topic for today's discussion is Nigeria at 62, a toddler or an adult. My guest is Mr. Wole Dosumu, Mr. Adewole Dosumu. He is a journalist. So, but before we delve into the program proper, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Until then, please enjoy the ride with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Wole Dosumu, for coming on the show. I almost called you a doctor right now.
Thank you so much for giving me this invitation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's your second time here and it's been wonderful so far. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria is 62. Now let's reflect on the past and the present of Nigeria, looking at the major sectors like petroleum, finance, education, and infrastructure.
Wow. Past, present, future. Well, I want to start by congratulating all Nigerians, both home and in diaspora, for the occasion of this 62nd independence anniversary. Yes, a journey of 1,000 miles will surely start one day. And one day we gained our independence from the colonial masters. And looking at the parameters that you have just highlighted, I want to say that in the last 62 years, it's been a slide down the ladder because we started so well. We maintained the success story, and at a point, we threw off the balance. When I say threw off the balance, we were at a time when we needed to look inwards. But because of the advent of that oil, you will agree with me that when we were operating regional governance, each region was thriving on a particular aspect. And that indeed helped the country to grow faster, to indeed look at areas of their strength and then form a kind of a synergy. Now, when oil came, all of these were jettisoned, especially in the area of agriculture. And that is why 62 years we are still struggling to feed ourselves. Gone were the years or the days when each region will come to the fore with their own agricultural produce or product, and then we see how we can exchange it. And that led to the economic factor of our country as well. The advent of oil actually made everyone to become lazy. Lazy in the sense that we all sat down and we relied on the revenue that came in from oil. Well, it is something that God gave us, but rather than using it to further explore other opportunities in terms of expanding our infrastructural development, it came to a point where there are some forces that came together, and rather than using it for the betterment of the generality of the country, we were just getting money into the some few hands. And that was where our challenge started. Now, we have struggled over the years. Look at the rail system, look at our air transportation, and even look at our land form of transportation, one could say that we are still struggling. Even as at this point, uh, I look forward to those years when we'll travel by rail from Ibadan to Kano, and it was fun. But today, it is not like that. And so we need to actually sit down and think positively on how we can bring back such structures and then use it for the betterment of the entire populace.
Mm. So now, with taking it from the economic aspect, now Nigeria has really gone through a lot of challenges, especially various forms of insecurity as well as economic difficulties. Now, how would you explain that? We know that there is really a clamor for a change, clamor for the government to actually take a note of what is actually happening to Nigerians. And we know Nigeria is a country whereby when things skyrocket, it doesn't go back.
Well, I want to say that Nigeria is indeed a special breed. And when I say special breed, God has actually helped us. And you will discover that over the years, whatever the challenge may be, Nigerians will always find a way of melting it down. And that is the instrumentation of the God factor. You will discover that regardless of our challenge, we have always looked round and with the help of God, laugh it off, laugh it away, so that it won't come to a situation where it gets to a level that we cannot even control. And that's why I said we are indeed a special breed. When you look at the COVID-19 pandemic, for example, one would have thought that by this time, there won't be any country that is called Nigeria. But lo and behold, it was indeed a time when we looked inward. And whether you like it or not, COVID has come up with his positive hands on our country. But I want to say that we still need to look further in exploring this positive aspect and using it as a form of transformation in other sectors. You rightly pointed out the issue of insecurity. And I want to say that if we are able to tackle the issue of greed, Nigeria surely will bounce back again. If we are able to block all our loopholes, Nigeria will still be that strong force one more time. And that is why, whether we look at it from the governance or from those who are governed, or from the aspect of even the citizens, it must be an holistic approach from every sector. When we become sincere with ourselves, when we come up with realistic policies, when we indeed back up what I call positive ideas, and we give them the opportunities to thrive, definitely we will bounce back. The issue of insecurity, we can narrow it down to what I just said: greed, and of course, misappropriation. If we're able to indeed look at such areas, tackle it, and then harness our resources in the appropriate manner, definitely we will still get it right. And like you rightly pointed out, in 62 years, if we are still struggling, then something is wrong. I could remember years back when we have nationals of various countries coming to Nigeria. At least I can record vividly of the Ghana must go experience when Ghanaians came into Nigeria because of the challenges they were having in their own country. And they sat down and said, we can do it. And now they are back in their country. I think this is our own opportunity to say we can do it and we get it right, and then we bounce back.
Thank you so much for that. Let's quickly go on this break and we will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Let's Talk on DNT Work, and this is all about Nigeria at 62. My guest has been Mr. Adewole Dosumu. He's a journalist, and I believe you've been enjoying the discussion so far. So if you're just joining us, there is still room for you to learn more about this 62 years of Nigeria, where we are right now, and where we're going. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Adewole Dosumu, for standing by.
Thank you.
All right. Before we went on that break, you talked about Ghana. And recently, I was watching a program on TV whereby the journalists traveled all the way to Ghana. And, they were showing us good things about Ghana, where Ghana is right now, their fabrics and how they've evolved. Now, Nigeria is 62. Would you say Nigeria is still a toddler or an adult?
That seems to be a very big question. I wouldn't say a toddler, but I would only say that, like I said earlier on before going on that break, if we're able to put our act together, definitely we'll get it right. You just mentioned about one aspect, which is fabrics. The present administration started with a policy that you grow what you eat and you eat what you grow. If they have actually followed it up, you would discover that it would have worked for us tremendously. Take the issue of fabric as an example. Many Nigerians don't even cherish what we have as our own. And that's why we still spend a lot of money foreign exchange on importation. If we take our own fabrics as our own example, like what I am putting on, this is what we refer to as the tie and dye, and it is peculiar to Ogun State, southwest Nigeria alone. You will discover that we have some international hands coming in to tap of this tie and dye, taking it back to their own country and trying to resell to us. If indeed we are satisfied, we cherish what we produce, we wear our attire, then it will become impossible for such internationals to come and take it away from us and repackage back to us when we buy from them. Not only this, when you look at other sectors of our country, if we cherish what we produce, if we give them the necessary support and backing, you will see that we would have advanced more than the level in which we are now. We seem to be recognizing more of the certificates while we relegate the technical aspect. And so if we're able to pick up the technical aspect, develop it, modernize it, give it this necessary support and assistance, you will see how we will thrive. If it is in the area of our attire, talking about clothing, even to the minutest thing that we manufacture, you will see that nations of the world will look back to us. And like we are trying now, you would see that coming up with our own fabrication of indigenous manufacturing of goods, if we are able to step it up, definitely we can use that to bring about a spring point where, yes, we bring about the cooperation of some corporations or some companies where yes, we have areas where some people can become experts. And then we focus on that and we build on it. We give the necessary finance and support, and we can use that to indeed show to the world again that, yes, Nigeria is back. Don't forget that we are still being referred to as the giant of Africa. But that giant of Africa is not being manifested in different areas where it's supposed to. Agriculture, transportation, economy itself, we are not seeing it. And so if we are to move from a toddler to a giant that we are being referred to, so many factors must be considered and must be restructured.
Especially the power sector, because I was actually reading the pages of news stories, and one of the candidates for the upcoming election, presidential election, said, okay, it's going to ensure that the power grid does not fail again. Now, Nigeria actually has the power to ensure that we have stable electricity, because Ghana, that is a neighboring country, took electricity from Nigeria, and today Ghana has a stable light. And we know that for any country to actually move forward, then there's need for stable electricity, because that's what is going to actually engineer the success of any production or any business at all. Now, there is a lot of promises. Let's talk about democracy and the electoral process, plus unfulfilled promises, and the one that is being made right now. What does the future hold for Nigeria in all of this?
Wow, this is one aspect that I am indeed very careful in commenting on. When we look at our democratic process, I would say that we're always quick in giving our leaders the hard knocks. But we have also forgotten that without our input, the leaders won't be there. And so we need to sit down as electorate to think twice and to say, are we still going to continue in this, what I can call or we want to change the rhetorics, permit me to say it that way. You mentioned something about power the other time, and that is a critical aspect of any nation that is to thrive, that is to develop, and that is to get to the highest pinnacle of bringing about development that we've been talking about. Well, there is no harm in privatizing such sectors. But where the problem lies is that even after privatization, we have not even seen much of an improvement in this sector. Now, can we now say that that privatization has brought us more harm than good, or more good than harm? Now, when you look at governance, I think with the recent election that took place in Osun and Ondo, you will see the kind of improvement that we are talking about with the latest technology. Now, if we indeed improve more on this, it will kind of reduce the level at which we've been witnessing what we call many Nigerians or many electorates being disenfranchised. It will put a stop to rigging, and it will give us a kind of a free and fair election where we can both beat our chest and say boldly that, yes, we have conducted a kind of election that is free, fair, and acceptable worldwide. Now, for leaders aspiring for offices to occupy, I think it is now time to tell us in clear times what we should expect, and we should use that as a parameter to judge whether you have performed well for a re-election or you have not performed, and then we give you the marching order. For the electorates, it is time for us to sit down and look critically at issues and indeed come forward to elect leaders that can change the narratives. Let us forget the democracy of money, and let us come forward with a democratic process that will indeed bring us out of the doldrum and make us to advance, develop, forget about all the challenges that we've had over the years, surmount them, and then prove to the world that we are indeed giant of Africa.
Okay, thank you so much for that. What would be your message to Nigerians in 62 years of a celebration, independent celebration, if you're to say something about it?
One more time, I congratulate all Nigerians. Yes, it's not yet Uhuru. We are not there yet, but we still have that belief that we can still get there. We should not lose focus. We should not lose faith. We should keep on doing our own best. And don't forget the God factor. I'm always referring to the God factor because there is nothing we can do without the help of God. It won't come to manifestation. And so as we celebrate 62 years of independence, 62 years of governance by ourselves, 62 years of being a country that is standing on our own. We know our rights from our lefts, and we come to a position where we become realistic with ourselves. We need a kind of governance that will give us a kind of time limit to their democratic promises, and then we can use that to monitor the level at which they are performing, either positively or negatively. I want to assure us, Nigeria will be great again, because with the help of God, with our support, and with the determination of both those who are in this saddle of leadership and those who are followers as well, we can build Nigeria again, and we will surely get there. I say happy independence.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adewole Dosumu. It's been wonderful having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to you out there, thank you for being part of the show. And to my fellow Nigerians, happy independence. And we look forward to a better year. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the year, of this new year. Bye for now.